And we're live. Welcome, everybody, to our discussion of the 2013 film Proxy, IFC Midnight Film. Yep, there it is. I'm joined by Patrick, Horror with Haas, and Mary. Patrick, how's it going?
Doing good, Ben. Doing good. Watching some of the awards show. Watching our boy pick up some awards. Godzilla, the big G.
Nice. Is that the Oscars? Is that today?
Well, today was the Rubber Duckies. Today,
Okay.
I know that Godzilla's cleaning up some awards there. So I know I think he got a couple at the SAG Awards, probably, as he should. You know, he is Hollywood's biggest star.
He's I was in LA, in December, hanging out with family, and I took a picture of his star on the Walk of Fame.
That's cool. So cool.
Let's see.
Is he the only kaiju with his name in the Walk of Fame?
Probably.
He might. Yeah. Maybe King Kong.
Was it not King Kongs?
Yeah, King Kong.
Look at that.
Oh yeah.
That's
cool.
It's too bad they didn't have it. It's too bad. It's just too bad they didn't have like his tail or something going across it.
Yeah. -1 was pretty excellent though. It's getting a lot of acclaim as it should.
Now, have you gotten any more figures since last month?
I've been on a spending moratorium, I think, but have I gotten more figures?
I thought maybe you would have got a Funko Pop or something like that.
Oh, you know what? I got I had pre-order stuff. I got some pretty amazing shit. I like this full scale.
Oh no!
Oh,
that's very cool. You're gonna forget in the middle of the night that you had that. It's gonna be hanging.
He's gonna get up. He's gonna go up. He's gonna forget he put it on the window, on the mirror in the bathroom.
Scared the living hell out of you.
Mm-hmm.
Brains.
Yeah, Phantasm 2.
Look at that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, look at this. The spear. Hell yeah! Look at that. That is awesome.
This is like full. It's like an actual metal ball.
Dude,
Paragon effects there.
The spear is iconic.
There's also a drill bit and then these staberinos here.
Oh yeah.
Jeez.
That's the spear. That's an amazing.
Very nice. Yeah.
That's amazing.
The display base. So I've been on a spending moratorium, but still like some fancy shit has been coming in the door.
Yeah.
I wonder how. Yeah, and it's funny how that happens, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's cool.
Here I thought he maybe got one or two Godzilla Funko Pops, and he's got the spear instead.
Yeah, that's a pretty nice set. When I start making videos, I'll bust that. I'll do a video on those.
Now, what do you think, Ben? Do you think the spear, being as mighty as it is and supernatural and everything else, could it survive a blast of Godzilla fire?
No, nothing, and I say nothing can. Godzilla trumps all. Gaiden certainly can. Oh, by the way, Patrick, like, I got laid off from my job, but I had brought Gigan into 3D scan, and I was going to print him. He's like I don't know, currently about this big, and I was going to do him gigantic scale.
That's awesome.
But then now I've decided to go bigger than gigantic scale, and I'm going to do him 26 inches tall, which is fucking tough, dude. Like his tail and everything is going to be just absolutely insane. But
is he capable? Is he going to be capable of eating pizza?
I don't think they make a pizza that's going to be big enough to satisfy him, to be honest with you.
Yeah, you have to order 2 pizzas every Saturday now.
Yeah, I mean he needs his full own. But yeah, Haas, how's it going with you, man?
Been doing well. I haven't been putting out much content. I've been real busy, but just enjoying getting to join in with y'all and talk about this good movie this evening. And yeah, it's good to see all y'all again.
Yeah, good to see. We all survived another month.
That's a good way of putting it.
Mary, how's it going with you?
Good. I won a giveaway.
Oh, nice.
I won the Twilight Zone. It's the 80s.
80s, yeah, sweet.
One. So I'm gonna be watching a lot of that. I won that on Geriatric Geeks channel.
Nice.
He's a cool guy.
Yeah.
He's cool. Is he still based in Vegas?
Yeah. Yeah, and his father had just passed away, I guess. It's like, that's sad. Sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
But he said he made it to 95, so
yeah, it's pretty full life, yeah.
Geriatric Geek, man. He was one of those Dollar Tree guys that would buy everything and anything. That guy's his collection must be absolutely massive.
Yeah, I think it's gotten smaller. It looks it anyway. I don't know.
Oh.
He likes Funko Pops too, like you guys like. I only have a few of those. I don't. I get them through the Disney points or something from my daughter.
Yeah.
Just a few of them. I like the black light ones. They're neat.
That's a really good prize.
Yep.
All right. Well, you guys ready to jump into this film?
Crazy.
You
Crazy.
guys want to get like your initial thoughts, I guess, before we actually jump into the discussion? Patrick, what do you think?
Man, I gotta admit, I was suspecting one thing and got something completely else. I think this is it's a good thriller. It's a very, very good movie. First of all, it's very good, but it is sad as hell. For me, I felt sorry for everybody in it.
Yep. The husband Patrick and Esther and
all of them, even Anna. I even felt sorry for her.
Yeah. Yeah, it brings a lot of emotions out of you, and just for the way that things get going so quickly, as far as the just brutality, and that was something I was just like, whoa, like it was just out of the blue.
it gets started quick.
Yes, indeed. So, but I really liked it, the cinematography of it and the soundtrack, the music in it.
Yeah, the music's the suspense of the music.
Mm-hmm.
Like Patrick was saying, it's like a Hitchcock.
Yeah, I definitely could see.
I was like, yeah, there was a point where it was like Psycho. You could hear it in the music and in the action.
We got Ginger Ninja and Hobbs in the house. What's up, guys?
Yeah, good to have y'all.
Welcome to Sunday night.
Sunday.
So let's jump into it then. Like you guys were just saying, it does start off very quickly with some disturbing stuff. We see Esther is at her ultrasound appointment. She's pretty far along in her pregnancy, and she's walking out to the bus stop, and she gets assaulted, smashed on the head, and when she's unconscious, you just have like this extended beating of her pregnant belly with a brick. It's fucking like
really bad.
Put it on pause for a minute. What?
Yeah, that was brutal.
It seemed like when I this was not my first time watching this. It was my second time. The first time it felt more jarring than this time around. This time around it was still jarring. I mean, conceptually it's jarring, but it didn't have quite the same gut punch, if you will. Pardon the pun.
Yeah.
Oh, doinks.
But yeah, I mean, absolutely brutal. Just that was and then she gets money stolen. But that was almost like felt like an afterthought, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
didn't take a ring, or whoever it was took a ring.
Then Grimm into the house, not into pregnancy horror. It's there's some good. I mean, Rosemary's Baby. How can you not be into that?
Right. Right. And
This. Sorry, go on.
no, I was gonna say. I think they said that they looked at this movie. Zach Parker said he saw his part of this movie as being as sort of being a spiritual sequel to Rosemary's Baby. I didn't get that at all. I didn't get that at all. I didn't get any Rosemary's Baby, even though he named his character after someone in the Rosemary's Baby. But I didn't get. I never got anything like that at all.
There's not much except like you start, you meet someone and you have a trust for them, and then all that crumbles. That's about it, you know.
Yeah,
as far as movies go, and tension with a couple. There's some themes of that later, but yeah, I didn't really get Rosemary's Baby at all from this.
It's only
Rosemary's
a pregnancy.
Baby.
It's only a pregnancy horror for like 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If that.
And
Under the real horror.
I was gonna say I don't think I'm ruining anything with this, but it's not supernatural. It's like you sort of look at the cover and they're trying to lead you down that road, and it's like it's a road that it never takes a single step towards. It's not at all, and I couldn't understand the marketing of it or the posters of it, because I don't know, they're trying to switch it up on the viewer or what, but it's like it's pushing itself sort of like a supernatural, and there's not a single second of it that says that in the movie.
I mean, it seems to me like the basically like the poster was just an ultrasound image that was red against a black background, right? I mean, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. Sort of. I think it sort of like implies a little bit, because it does look really freaky and not.
It reminded me of the cover of Coma. Back in the day, that movie Coma had like an image of a baby on the cover or something.
Yeah, they sort of like had that blood splatter behind it, and it was sort of freaky. It's like and then and to sit there and say it's a spiritual sequel to Rosemary's Baby, and it's like there's not a single step toward that. It's like it's nothing there. It's a reality based movie. It's like it could happen today, it could happen tomorrow. It's totally, you can see exactly this movie happening, playing out in today's world. It's a mystery.
Yeah, I guess there's like, as far as story structure goes, where you have someone who gets pregnant and has a complicated, I don't know. Yeah, it's not really Rosemary's Baby is far superior to this in virtually every way, but I mean, that's a masterpiece. But like yeah, this one I did not get Rosemary's Baby. There's actually not really much of a baby, right. She goes to the hospital. You see her belly has some wounds on it, and she's unresponsive, having lost a lot of blood, and they try to do a C-section of the baby, but the baby's stillborn.
How about that C-section though?
Yeah, the hospital scene was fire though.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
they're like, let me get this paring knife out and make an S formation across your stomach. I've never seen
yeah, that's
I've never
not
seen that.
That's not like a C-section incision, right? I mean, that's like
no, not at all. That's more.
I don't know. I mean, I've never.
Your pubic hairline is more where would they
they just do like it's like a horizontal cut, like above the.
But pelvis. The whole Olay thing, Ziv Rizzoro type.
That scene was legit. I mean,
Yeah, that was.
the way they covered it, and the ER doctors and everything else, the way they did it. I mean, you felt like, in a sense, you're watching if you're part of a reality show and you're sitting there watching it, and they're filming it, like Life in the
Yeah, it
ER.
looked pretty real, didn't it?
Yeah, it looked really real. It was real. It was good. It was
Made my
really
stomach
good.
hurt.
Yeah,
The baby looked excellent.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yes.
Very convincing.
But so yeah, she loses the baby, and we haven't really been we don't really know too much about her. She was a little standoffish at her ultrasound appointment, not super sociable. And now she's laying in the hospital recovering from her assault, and she gets some visitors. A police detective comes in to sort of try to talk about the case, and he says, this type of thing's almost always someone do you know who could it be? And she is like pretty confident that she doesn't know anybody, has no family. Like sort of paints the picture of her existence here.
Mhm.
What did you guys?
She's only friends with her fish,
Yeah.
right?
I
Yeah,
felt yeah. I would. That was yeah. That was sad.
Yeah.
I mean, her whole demeanor is just very sad. I mean, she doesn't have anybody. Other than her fish, she doesn't really, she doesn't have anybody she can trust. I mean, she may have somebody, which we'll talk about later, but she has there's no emotional attachment to that other person.
Yeah. It drives home the point that she's the victim here of something horrific, and you really feel for her, this early on in the movie, and we, as we'll discuss, that changes down the line, but it seemed like it was a recurring thing, though, of having people that are dealing with, something where they feel like they've been victimized in a way, and then maybe you seeing another side of them where they're not what they appear.
yeah.
That's what I got.
We do definitely get there with her. The after the police detective leaves, like a social worker comes in, and gives her a pamphlet for a support group, and she just reiterates, she doesn't know anybody, she doesn't have any friends, she doesn't have anyone for support, and the lady's like, you need something, because I'm here to basically put a band-aid on this while you're here, but once you leave, none of this help is going to be there, so you got to help yourself, which is true. I mean, and so I mean, it's kind of blunt, but I feel like she says what she has to say.
Mm-hmm.
And then ultimately she gets discharged and goes home, and of course her best friend has already passed away, the fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She got home. The filter must have stopped while she was gone or something.
Well, I mean, we don't know how long she was gone. I mean, I don't know how long fish can go without food, but
she'd been gone for she had to be gone for quite a while.
I was in the hospital for a C-section for 4 days.
yeah, but you didn't have the fancy S cut.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a little more recovery.
I was thinking maybe they just kept her longer because of the other injuries she sustained besides.
Could be. Yeah.
That's what was my thinking. But
she had a concussion or something too.
And she lost a life-threatening amount of blood, apparently. Perspective. So they must have done a transfusion or something, but she gets home and we sort of like see her quiet, lonely existence. And she just basically goes about her stuff. And then she goes to the support group that was recommended to her. And
how about her coming back and staying in the hospital?
Well, I thought that was that before she went to the support group?
I think it was. I think it was before that. Then she went to the support group.
Yeah, that was pretty.
She
Bad.
shows up to the hospital after she goes to the support group.
That I have to admit, that part there, that was really that was heavy. That was a heavy scene for me. A lot of flashbacks. You know, whenever I see a hospital centric movie like that, it
Mhm.
brings back, because I slept overnight at the hospital. It's different. It's different.
Right.
Good evening.
Yeah, I felt really sorry for her, for that girl. I mean, I just did. It just
How could you not?
Yeah.
She's been through a lot.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, we've seen that she's lost her baby. She was assaulted, lost her baby. Uh, doesn't have anyone in her corner, and yeah, I mean, she's just lonely and really doesn't have anyone. So of course you're going to feel for her at this point. Uh, but yeah, so she goes to the hospital, and you know, I mean, to be honest, like even that was kind of weird from a filmmaking thing. I mean, I got the point across, but uh, if you go to a hospital and you don't have anywhere to go, uh, even if you're just walking the halls, you're not going to be like, oh, is there anywhere I can just hang out? I mean, you know how many fucking waiting areas there are in a hospital? You just go, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it felt kind of weird, like, you know.
Yeah, the nurse was kind of cold, I thought, because I could
Yeah.
walk in there and I could just go sit down. Nobody would come on out and bother me.
No, and considering what happened to her, I honestly don't know a single nurse that would say anything to her other than walk to the area, maybe give her a cup of coffee or some ice water. Like
Yeah,
that.
you need
I,
something to drink. Can I help you? You know, that's part of your job, whether you want to
I,
or not.
I
It's,
don't see any. Yeah, I didn't see that. That part there did not ring true, and I just felt like they would, as long as she wasn't drunk or disorderly or anything else, as long as she wasn't disruptive, then they would have let her sit there for as long as she needed to sit.
But of course, she wasn't approached in the waiting area. She went behind the curtain, as it were, right? She like
yeah, well,
walked
she
past the
said that she
receptionist. Yeah.
ghosts. She's a ghost, right?
Well,
Yeah.
she just walked by everyone and like went in the back area where, yeah, you're not supposed to be. So of course the nurse was like, what are you doing here? You know, you're not
Right.
on your way to a doctor's room. You're not like, you don't work here. Like you should really not be back in this area. Um, so I can understand her being cold. She also had like, there's no reason for us to think that she had any idea that she had been at the hospital, you know, recently, and that there was any
Right.
traumatic incident. She was just some lady wandering around where she shouldn't be wandering around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which you can't do. People steal babies and everything.
Yeah, I mean it's yeah, you can't hang out where you shouldn't be hanging out. But she goes to the support group for um, people that have had some traumatic incident with their children, either a death or kidnapping or whatever. Um, and she meets a lady there who sort of approaches her uh, and uh, and sort of befriends her in a way. Um, and her name was Melanie, apparently.
Melanie. Yep.
I kept writing Emily.
Yeah, the so we meet her, and she's you know, again, this movie is full of twists and turns, but when we first meet her, she just seems like someone who has been going to the support group for a long time but remembers what it was like to be a newcomer and reaches out to someone to help try to make him feel comfortable, which she does. And they go get coffee afterwards, and you know, basically is just trying to show her some support. What did you guys think of our initial meeting with Melanie?
I liked her.
Yeah.
Thought that was very nice of her to help Esther. Finally, Esther finds a buddy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she seemed like just somebody to be there for her, and seemed like that was what Esther needed. So
Yeah, she seemed very friendly and very helpful.
Yeah, she's a great person. So anyway, she meets a friend, right? So at least now there's one person. She gets her number. So now there's at least one person in her life that she can contact and hang out with. And we go to see Esther basically coming in and going to a department store to try to get a job application. And she sees Melanie. And Melanie's just hanging out doing some shopping. And she's sort of like, oh, she's going to go check her out. But then all of a sudden, Melanie starts freaking out about how her kid is gone, was just there, must have been taken, blah, blah, blah. And we see her sort of switch off her just normal thing and switch on. It was like, very abrupt and obvious that to the audience that she was like putting on some show or doing some weird shit.
yeah.
And so we're like, oh, this girl is maybe fucked up, or she's reliving her trauma, or like, who knows, right? And the whole time Esther is just watching her and follows her out after, store manager's like, oh, we're gonna check the surveillance and blah blah blah, and she basically receives a bunch of attention, and then she just like sort of casually goes out and gets her kid from the car.
The hot sweaty car with the windows up.
Yeah, and he goes back into the like, look, I found him, it's cool. So this is where we first realize that she's a fucking real weird person.
Yeah, she's definitely an attention seeker.
Mm-hmm. Sort of like a stolen valor type personality. One that claiming bad things happen to him when nothing has happened to him.
It's almost like Munchausen by proxy or whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
Where
they get their kid sick on purpose.
Yeah, and for attention of the parent. It's like
receiving something from what you're going through, I guess. Yeah.
It's like that without actually traumatizing the kid. So kind of a shade better, I guess, though the kid's probably traumatized by having a crazy ass mom or whatever. Pretty weird behavior. And we're left wondering, like, what the fuck is really actually up with this girl? Like, she's not what we thought she was, at least. So Esther basically goes home and was like going to her fridge, and someone grabs her, right? And we cut to like sounds of I don't know, sex sounds, basically, right? As we sort of slowly come in and see that she's.
We're not sure. We're not sure she's being assaulted or not.
I think initially we're led to believe that she is being assaulted, before it's sort of like slowly revealed that that's her, her someone in her life, like a girlfriend or like a sex friend,
a lover at best,
something. So yeah, what did you guys think of this whole scene?
I wrote gross.
It was wild because it's like you see that same hoodie from the beginning, you're like, oh shit, this person got into her house, and then you're like, whoa, wait a minute. Like now you're thinking, so that whole thing was like,
and you're not really sure if it's you're not sure because the camera work, the camera was sort of fuzzy,
blurry.
So really sure if you're watching a dude or not. Is it a guy? Is he raping her? Or you're just not sure. And then once it comes back in focus and we see it's two women, and even then Esther's not exactly. She doesn't look like really she's overjoyed to see her at all.
Well, yeah, I mean, we can't really see her face too well, right? In that sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, like afterwards during the pillow talk time, we start learning a bit about Esther as well. Like we learned that Annika, was that her name?
Annika. Yeah,
Annika.
Annika.
Is like her girlfriend who said not to contact her because she basically had talked Annika into assaulting her and smashing her baby.
It was all planned. Yeah.
And that was the person who did the assault. So now we don't like Melanie and we're like, Esther, what the actual fuck, you know?
Yeah.
She was asking her what she was doing with Melanie at the park. I guess they went to the park.
Right.
Too.
She's very jealous. Annika,
and she follows her around, Esther, I guess, whatever she's doing. It's like her little shadow.
Mm-hmm.
Her crazy shadow.
Well, there's definitely some possessive type qualities there. Like, hey, you're mine. Like, you know, that's what I got. I don't know.
Well, also, you know, I mean, she obviously knows Esther, and Esther is a crazy bitch. So
yeah.
I mean, we see her sort of like her like immediate fixation with Melanie, and so I mean, Annika probably
that was pretty quick too.
Yeah.
I mean, we find out like basically we do end up finding out that she like tells Melanie that, hey, look, I know that you have a son still, and I know that you faked this pregnancy thing. I saw you at the department or the kidnapping.
She invited her over for coffee or something, right?
Yeah. They had I think they had wine though.
A wine.
And yeah, Melanie all of a sudden she just got terrified when she told her that. Like, you know, like she wanted to break it off and that was it. She didn't want anything because that would ruin her whole gimmick, her whole stolen valor, proxy thing. It would end it. So she got totally scared.
It was even like a little, I think it was a little more than that. I think like Esther actually, because she says, look, like I get it. I'm probably the only person who gets it because I'm fucking a whack job as well. And I think at that moment, Melanie is actually like, oh shit, this person is actually seeing the real me. I think it's like, like a sort of like a forced moment of intimacy. And she like, that's her self defense mechanism, it's just like, you don't know shit, don't talk to me, because she's actually like just struck the nerve, like but yeah, what did you guys think of that scene where she's sort of like everything comes to a head between those two?
She's snapping. That's when the straw breaks the camel's back, I think.
I don't know, and I don't know again what it was supposed to add to the story other than just showing that. But we didn't mention Esther going to that bar where she sees the two dudes playing pool, and they end up tag teaming on her in the bathroom. And that was like, I don't know if that was just showing us that she's not loyal to Annika, or she's just like, she'll do whatever on the spur of the moment.
She was a prostitute, I think.
That's what I thought too, Mary. I thought she did that for the money for her rent.
She was earning her money.
Right.
Yeah, because she tried to put an application at the mall, but that didn't work out.
Right. I felt like she was trying to get either another bun in the oven or trying to deal fucking weird ass shit.
Thumbs up again.
Doing that again. It's like, a bun in the oven.
Yeah, I thought she was getting paid. I thought that's why she did it for.
I didn't get that at all. For me, it felt like some kind of like feeble attempt to cope, like get attention from somewhere else or get out of like her head. Either
okay, because you know what? She did say that, didn't she? She did say that. She said, I liked all the attention I got when I was pregnant, but I didn't want the baby.
Yeah.
Right? I don't remember who she said that to, but she said that. I don't remember. So yeah, maybe you're right. She was looking for that next sperm donor.
My whole point is for her is it's just like, okay, I understand that. I do. But why go to such extremes? Why not just give it up for adoption? I mean, Hell, you only had 2 more weeks to go. You could give it up for adoption, and then you wouldn't have to worry about it. I
Well,
couldn't understand the extreme opposite of that by really putting herself. She almost got killed herself.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I
You know,
guess she also gets the added benefit of being like a victim of an assault, right? So now she also gets, not only did she get all the attention from being pregnant, but now she gets the attention of losing her baby and also being assaulted.
right.
She's just obviously a sick fuck. So like,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
no like, I mean, it doesn't have to make sense. She's just crazy as a
She'll make a
fucking,
great parent.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, we see her snap. She tries to kiss Melanie, and Melanie strikes her and says, "Stay the fuck away from me." And then she just crumbles and like starts crying, right? And then the next thing we know, she's going to grab some truck from a parking lot that she knows where the hide key is located. And she drives over, grabs a crowbar, and drives over to Melanie's place and just sort of walks right on in.
I think the little boy might have let her in.
no, she came in.
Well,
He
saw her through the window for sure.
Yeah, I thought he unlocked the door for her because
I
she has
think
a sweet face.
I think she just walked in the back door.
Crazy.
She walked in, yeah,
Mm.
and she snuck in and went upstairs.
Yeah. What were you guys thinking? Because now we've had a few twists and we've had a few turns. What were you guys thinking about as this sort of a leg of the story starts going?
They're all crazy.
Well, I mean, definitely, yeah. Melanie and Esther, they both have got the same thing in common with the attention thing, but then also the whole screw loose because of the lengths they'll go to get that. At least what we've seen already, and but yeah, it's
I
no
thought she was
redeeming
coming
qualities
for all of them.
Yeah.
Shoot. Right. No redeemers.
Yeah, I just honestly, I just felt I couldn't understand why Esther would risk such. She didn't know what she was walking into. I mean, she really didn't. And she just came into the house in the middle of the day, and I mean, it's like you wondering what do you think was going to happen, and I just, I mean, her psyche was just definitely shattered. But we just really we didn't really understand that at all, just how badly she was. Was she like that? Was she like that? I mean, as far as I don't think she was quite as crazy as before the assault as she was afterwards. I think the assault on her just really that was it. She checked out. She was on cruise control for the rest of her life.
I actually disagree because she's got the lover who's known her for a long time, and she obviously put up to doing the assault. But the lover at some point even says she's such a good fuck because she's crazy. So she knows how fucking bad shit crazy she is.
Yeah, she does comment on that later, and I'm like, well,
yeah, right from the jump. So
maybe this has been going. Things like this have happened before. Maybe not that. With the baby, but some
people who have been crazy, they're crazy, but they really truly don't know. That's why they call it, crimes committed under insanity plea, because she was insane when she did it. She was insane when she did the assault. She was insane when she broke inside the house. She didn't really know what she was doing.
She's definitely fixated on Melanie and doesn't want to take no for an answer.
Yeah, she was obsessed.
I think to be honest, in order to get away with the insanity plea, you have to establish that you don't understand right from wrong. It's not enough to be crazy. You can't just be, I'm crazy, so like, look, you can't, I'm not responsible. You have to and a person who is that type of crazy won't sneak in a back door and be all quiet and shit. Like they'll just, because they don't know what's wrong. They'll just be like, okay, I'm gonna walk in through the front door and possibly, no one's there, and she'll get up to whatever, the bathroom or whatever. But I mean, I think she definitely knew everything she was doing. It was calculated. She knew she was going to commit some kind of homicide, and that it was something that she should sneak in through the back door.
How did
to
she
do.
find her address?
Don't know. Maybe she followed her. Maybe like
She might have followed her.
Okay, it was back from the mall, right? Or something. Did she? I don't know. Did she follow her back from the mall, maybe? Or I don't know.
they didn't.
She only had Melanie's phone number. She didn't. I don't think she had the address.
Huh.
But she had her name, and people have like you can Google someone or like phone books,
Googled her.
or whatever. Who knows? I mean, if she's like that kind of crazy, she's probably stalked her a bit as well, right?
Right.
Yeah. And we saw that when she followed her out. When she followed her inside the store, out to the parking lot to see what she was doing. So we know that she's capable of stalking somebody or following them.
She's got that stealth gene, dude. She's sneaky.
Well, I think it's just that whole thing of not being seen. Like she just feels like I can just move about, nobody's going to notice. But
they don't notice either. That's the thing. That's why she's so sad and she's lonely and connected so quickly because she's not right.
You gotta. It's a great bit of casting too, if you think about it. It's a great bit of casting to cast that girl because Alexis Rasmussen is because she is so nondescript. I mean, you could not get more of a plain Jane than you could with her. She was perfect for the role. I mean, she wasn't striking. She wasn't drop dead.
I thought she had like an innocent face. So the things that she was doing is like, geez.
Yeah.
She reminded me.
Great casting.
She reminded me a little bit of Jennifer Carpenter. Right?
Yeah.
That's Dexter's sister.
Yeah.
She had, I don't know, her face sort of like, maybe it was like her eyes or something. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but that's who I kept being reminded of as I was watching her. But she sneaks up the stairs. Well, she just starts walking in, and then she hears someone coming down the stairs, so she hides, and then she sneaks up. So
again, bath time.
Right? Who's gonna give it? I'm too tired. You do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the fall, and she says, "You just want to be the fun dad. You don't want to do any of the stuff." And he's like, "Yeah, I just want to be the fucking fun dad. Who doesn't?" Right?
Yeah, and he's watching the game, and he doesn't want to be interrupted right now. So.
Esther says, "I'll do it. It's my turn for bath time."
Yeah, Esther volunteers. So she goes upstairs and sees Peyton. Peyton's a 3-year-old little boy. The bath has been drawn and he's standing over there by it, and then we basically leave the room as viewers, and we hear just the sound of like a water struggle, right?
Mm-hmm.
So everyone knows, like, when you sort of see her going in and you see the kid, you're like, oh, okay, she's probably not going to kill the kid. But when we remove ourselves from the room and you hear the sound of her drowning the kid in the bathtub, I thought that was probably more effective than if they did try to show it.
Exactly. Yeah. It was.
It gave me chills, that whole thing. Just hearing that, I was like, ugh.
That was the most singular, most upsetting moment of the film for me, was that.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't done in 20 seconds either. It took a while. That was a long scene. That was a long scene.
Good job, parents.
Yeah.
I know.
Tick tock on the clock. The kid's in the bathroom with the full tub. Nice
and the
job.
little boy who played Peyton, that's actually the director's little boy.
Aww.
Oh, okay.
He's so cute.
Yeah, pretty effective scene there. I thought another like you guys were saying, pretty much another jarring moment in the film. I think, like, you start out with the smashing a pregnant lady's belly with a brick, and then you go into all this other story, and you're like, okay, well, that's going to be probably the worst thing I see.
Yeah.
And then
Until.
yeah, and then this comes, and I think probably it's even more harsh because at that point the kid is conscious of the situation that's happening, like, and I'm not here to like talk about when a fetus is like a human or whatever, but like either way, it was closed up in a belly. It didn't realize that there was an assault happening. Peyton is like a full sentient being in a traumatic situation. So for me, like, it's that much worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the filmmakers went for it, you know, and the Melanie walks in and sees that Peyton is dead in the tub, and yells. Obviously at this point, probably just thinks he drowned or something, right?
Right, right.
That's what she's thinking. Yeah, and of course Patrick comes running.
Well, it's what she wanted all along, right?
I thought it was really what I thought was really effective. How when when Melanie came inside the room and saw her son, and she instantly went CPR. She's screaming. She whatever. She didn't even see Esther standing in the corner. Again,
There's a
it's like,
ghost thing again. She's
yeah,
ghosting her.
totally. Like the first thing you walk in and see a room like that, you're seeing everything in the room. Everything stops. Everything just stops right there. While and you take a look at the whole room. Before you get that adrenaline hits you, and she never even saw her at all. I thought that was really effective.
She was kind of standing in the corner behind the door. Like, so she opens the door, she's not going to see her. She would have to and she's not going to have her in her peripheral vision. So she'd have to when she's pulling Peyton out of the bathtub or whatever, she'd have to see her. But yeah, she gets that tunnel vision. Why wouldn't she?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And then Esther approaches her and basically is like, hey, look, this is what you wanted. I knew that you wanted your kid dead, so I killed it. I knew you wouldn't, so now we can be together.
Yeah,
right?
I did what you couldn't do.
Yeah,
she tells her that.
Yeah, what her little girlfriend said to her.
That's where she went cuckoo. I mean, that's this, because Melanie, because I rewatched it, it's like Melanie never implied that she wanted anybody dead. She just said that her family was killed by a drunk driver, but she never said that I'm glad or I'm okay with it. I moved on from that. I mean, she didn't say that at all. She never referred that to Esther that's what she wanted. That's what Esther wanted.
but she did say, like, I would want to definitely know that my son was dead, right? Rather than being alive and kidnapped or something. So, I mean, we're not privy to their, I mean, obviously she was never open with Esther about even having a kid, right? But like, all she said was like, I would rather have my son dead than be in like whatever situation.
Well, first she said her son had been kidnapped, but then when Melanie and her were talking one-on-one, she said they'd been killed by a drunk driver, and so so that was it's like, okay, well, what's the real story here? But she said that because he even asked her, did you ever want to find out who did it? And she goes, no, I didn't, I don't want to know that.
Well, I thought they were talking about the other people in the group, like, because she was saying like the worst part or the worst people in the group are the ones that had their kids taken, right? That's how they were talking about it. And she's like, at least I knew. I think she never told her that Peyton was kidnapped because she's like, at least I knew Peyton was dead because of the car crash, and I didn't want to really know anything about the drunk driver. Because all I really wanted was for him to suffer. So, and the less I knew, the better, because I can sort of fantasize that he suffered.
Yeah.
But like, we do see like, this is a weird scene, and the husband just comes right up. with a
Yeah,
shot.
she had told him to go down and call like 911 or something. You know,
Yeah,
Yeah,
get
but
someone there.
why would he come up with a shotgun? Though?
exactly.
Well-
That's why I couldn't understand that either.
Well,
You
I
know,
assume he heard voices, and so,
Mm.
and maybe he thought, okay, someone's up here. That's not, you know, it's only supposed to be us three, you know, in the
But
house.
still, if she would have been in distress, she would have been screaming, you know, like, and she didn't. She was just, you know, she screamed at her husband to call the ambulance, but that's all she did. She didn't scream like, "Who are you?" or "Help" or "Patrick" or you know, she never inferred there was a third party in the room. And Elizabeth was talking in a very, you know, she was using her indoor voice.
That's true.
And so, you know, and we find out that house hides a lot of sound. I mean, you saw Elizabeth go inside the house, and that house creaked and moaned a lot. It
Yeah.
was an old house, but they never heard it. They didn't. You think that you would have heard Elizabeth go up the stairs, walking above her? I mean, because the forest creaked, and we saw that in the second half of the movie as well. It was just like that part there. I have to admit, with Mary, that part didn't get me at all. I was like, how would he even know? Because there was no screaming, there was no noise, there was no nothing other than his wife trying to get CPR on her son. There was no reason for him
You're
to.
supposed to bring the shotgun for CPR.
Well,
Here
all I
you go.
know is when Esther heard that sound of a chambering around the shotgun, it's like you almost thought it was gonna pop on the screen. This is the moment she knew she fucked
I
up.
know, right?
Because you know it's gonna happen.
The way that the way that whole scene was executed was kind of interesting. Parts of it were slow motion, parts of it were freeze frame,
Right.
and it was, I think, all sort of edited that way to emphasize tension and stuff. But I thought it was a pretty interesting approach to how they put that scene together. Because yeah, you see him with the gun, and it is like literally a freeze frame. It's not
It
even
felt.
slow
It,
motion.
do
And
you feel bad? Do you feel bad? It was sort of like Brian De Palma like.
yeah, maybe. Um, I thought it was pretty.
Kind of play out like Taxi Driver, where he goes in and starts blasting on people.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty interesting. And he just like shoots her in the gut, right? We see like her fall slow motion into the tub, flailing around. And yeah, he steps up, recocks it, and blasts her in the face. He closes his eyes, right? And I thought one of the interesting things for me in the scene was when they show Melanie, the look on her face, it almost seems like she's saying, "No, don't," you know?
Yep.
And we're left wondering, like, was that what she was saying, you know? Or like, you know, I guess
I think he was, and I also when they went back, that's a really good point because to me, that right there, that's when we're talking about when Esther clocked out for good. To me, that's when Melanie clocked out for good. That's when her synapses fired and that was it. She just
Well,
she
I
was
immediately got thinking. Okay, say if you're going to say you're using self defense in your home, the first shot would have been enough to subdue her or stop her. So that second one to me kind of his him stepping over the line. I was really surprised he didn't get at least charged with something. You know?
Me too.
But
I think I mean, it really depends on the state you live in as well.
That would have been murder in any state I know of because she's on the ground. You're shooting down on her. That's murder. I saw Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm not convinced that the police would do that much of an investigation on child murderers, break-in / child murderer, trajectory stuff. That's like theoretically, yes, you could probably prove that like he was standing over her and shot her, but I mean, is the police really going to try to like prosecute him for shooting the murderer of his child in small
Well, I don't know because think about it. if you think about that scene, this is the story they're going to tell her, because you can't get Esther's side now, because Esther's done, so we can't get her side. So you think about it, it's like how did that happen? How does she get inside the house? The child was on the outside. When you walked in there, when you went in there and you saw that your child had been it was already there. I mean, there's just so many. I mean, a good good DA would have just, yeah. I mean, maybe they might have got you for voluntary manslaughter or something like that. But he definitely would have been charged, and rightfully so.
I don't think you could say he'd definitely be charged, because there's a lot of places where they're not even going to like consider bringing charges against someone who shot the person who murdered their child in their own home.
Yeah, he'd have the insanity charge. He would be.
I think the insanity plea
would get off on that.
Yeah, I think so too. But Melanie, that's what to me though. So that's when, and it's funny too. It's like that's when Patrick went out the window too. I mean, everybody just lost their shit in this movie. Nobody held on to their sanity. Melanie, between the first and the second shot, she checked out. Patrick with the second shot, he checked out. Checked out.
Well, I will say this for Patrick. He does realize later that he's like, I shouldn't have done that second shot. Like he realizes like that was, that was wrong of him to. Like,
no, he wanted her to be alive so he could torture her down.
Well, yeah. I mean, he does tell the group that, but I'm saying when he tells her, Melanie that, that
he even says he even tells her like, if I didn't, then I have tools. We could have like figured out what the fuck, who she was, why she did this.
Right.
He fantasized about it. He fantasized on picking her out of the bathtub and taking her down to the basement.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy. You can hear her screaming.
He checked out too. So now we're watching a movie with basically, three crazy ass people and one vengeful person. It's a roller coaster. And the thing about it though, it's like most of the time people would have said, they're all unlikable. But you really don't feel that with this way with these movies. It's not like they weren't likable, but they're all broken before we even got there.
Well, Annika's pretty crazy. She's been in and out of jail, and she's,
I think for me, like, even if someone's broken, they can still be, you can have sympathy for someone and totally dislike them as a person. You know what I mean? Those two aren't mutually exclusive. And for me, she was kind of a vile human being. Because I always think like seeking attention for yourself, at the expense of someone who you're like supposed to be, I don't know. You're like your whole fucking thing as a parent is supposed to be protecting this person, like trying to give them their best life, right? But like, we see that the kid is more of a pawn in her game of like, what can I do for myself? And when I see that level of I guess narcissism or whatever, like, yeah, I don't have a lot of sympathy per se for that person. Or even if I have sympathy, I don't have, I still dislike them and find their actions vile.
Right.
I felt bad for Patrick.
I felt bad for Patrick
I felt bad for Patrick too. I felt bad for Melanie. I felt bad for Esther. I felt bad for I think overall, I think Melanie was definitely was the most evil of the person in there. I mean, but even then, he still felt for her, especially that scene where she's sitting there and you see the, you just see because I don't think if Esther hadn't gone to their house, Esther and Melanie never would have crossed paths again. They would have never crossed paths. That would have been it. But it didn't happen that way. It wasn't like Melanie was going to keep looking for Esther, like Esther did Melanie. But I just think with sitting there and watching her son die, and then turn around and watching her husband, cut in half the woman who did it, you could definitely see the light bulb just burn out. It was just done. She was done.
Right in the house, and the house was all trashed and everything. Yo, did Sir Ben freeze up over there?
Oh,
Yeah, it looks
okay.
like it may have.
Yeah, there he is.
I don't know. I don't know what the hell just happened.
Time travel.
Bad connection.
Outlander.
I will say, like, Melanie, when we get towards the end of the film, I want to see her get her comeuppance.
Yes.
Mhm.
More than anyone else in the film.
Yes,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yep.
So for me, like I think I was telling you guys before we started the stream, there is really no one to root for in this movie.
No.
Even if you feel, even if you can sympathize for someone or have empathy for their situation, you still aren't rooting for them.
I only felt bad for Patrick. It's the only one I felt for it. I mean, he just, but boy, oh boy, he went off the rails like record time. I mean, it was like, okay. I mean, I know that's some people's psyche, but yes, Melanie, yeah, you definitely wanted to
Well,
see her.
she was ready to move on. Like she went, like I think she go to school and she got some stuff for the kids, crafts and stuff, and
Oh,
put
that
them around the
creepy hug.
room. And
How
oh,
about,
look,
how about
he's
that?
with
How about,
us. He's with us, and we can have another one.
Well, not to mention
No.
when she's picking up the stuff from the
Yeah.
teacher, she's like kind of coming on to him when she's
Yeah, what's up
hugged
with
up
that?
to him,
That
and
was
it's like,
creepy.
what? Like,
Woo.
That was creepy as hell. And the guy who played the teacher, man, he did really well in this little role, because when he broke that hug, he was like, he felt like he felt like he wanted to see him. He wanted to look like he wanted to take a shower. He felt completely stupefied.
yeah.
He was like, ooh, like just gross. Definitely.
Well, it's just because of the way she would turn on and off the emotion, and how she was
Right.
like, I'm
Mhm.
sad picking up the stuff, but then like, oh, now I'm like trying to love up on you. It's like anybody would be like, what the hell?
People do. I mean, people cope with shit in weird ways. I mean, like, it's not out of the question for someone to deal with a traumatic incident like that than to try to like block it out of their mind acting out in that type of way. But clearly, yeah, he was off put by it.
Yeah.
And again, we see she kind of doesn't know what to do. Like her routine of getting attention or whatever. Like she goes to the park. She's got Peyton's little hat. We see that she's wants to like pretend like he was taken from the park. And then when someone says, hey lady, you dropped your hat. I've seen you here. Like, which one's yours? Like,
yeah, he saw her drop that hat.
Yeah. And we also see her go to Esther's house to try to like, remove any footprint she ever left there, to get her name and number that she wrote down off of wherever she wanted
And
to
her
retrieve.
girlfriend's in there recycling.
Yeah.
In plastic bags.
Yeah. Reuse, recycle, man.
You gotta take them back to the store, put them in a bin.
I feel like like you were talking about the sound stuff, like Esther's house had a very loud front door as well.
Yes.
And so for me, like, I just felt like that was, I don't know, just there was sound design and it didn't
The
necessarily.
plastic bag muffled the noise of the door.
She was in tune with something else at the moment. She couldn't hear a door opening.
Yeah, I can understand why she didn't hear didn't hear.
She was a little busy.
Yeah.
Cranky yanking.
But yeah,
she's there to get her phone number, right?
Mm-hmm. She sees the phone number,
Yeah.
she grabs it.
That's all.
Yeah, she's trying to yeah, like you could, when she finds it, she says, oh God, thank God, so you can see she was like trying to remove herself from any like suspicion or whatever.
Yeah, I guess it's important to remember that the case is not closed yet on what happened. They're still doing investigating into things. So
yeah,
her doing that is a little bit of damage control for herself for sure.
Because we
Okay,
find out
and-
that Annika had been locked up for jail for a month, and so
Patrick sees the car too, right? Isn't
Yes.
that the cops didn't investigate very good, and
well, I
scan the
mean,
area very good.
but I mean, they're not there over the course of 3 weeks or whatever just to see if a car hasn't moved. They're like, he notices because that's his house, and he saw, just like you notice shit like that. But like, I thought it was interesting. He goes out to the car. This is after his fantasy of grabbing her from the bathtub and taking her down in the basement and like torturing her. And when he goes out to the truck, he's got blood on his face. So like his fantasy blood is still like on his face. Which was like when I was watching, I was like, wait, I'm a little confused by this, because
Wait, he opened the door, it went away though. When he opened the house door, it went away.
no, when he got into the car, he still had blood on his face.
Oh, but I thought when he went out the front door, it was gone. He's in and out of consciousness of his dreams.
No, like
maybe it was a blooper.
When it could have been a continuity issue, but like they do show him when he's in the car and he finds the registration, he still has the blood on his face.
Yeah, the clothes were definitely, you could tell the difference. Like that there was blood when he was in the house. When he left, there was none on the clothes, but then when he goes back in, it's back again. So,
Continuity. Okay.
It might have just been
shit like that. I love shit like that when yeah, sometimes that shit happens in a movie.
Yeah, so it may not have been on purpose, but that like
I think it was.
It may have been on purpose, but
yeah, he was still in his little dreamland of beating her up. Didn't he go back downstairs? Like, I got you
when
now,
he comes
bitch.
back
I'd like to know what was he beating up, because her body's gone. What was he downstairs beating on?
I mean, for me, it was just like all fantasy, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, anyway, we see there's the car. He finds the registration. So he has a name of a person who could or could not be involved, but definitely has something to do with the case. And he calls like the detective, and they're like, "Dude, what are you doing? Just let us do the detecting, and you just do whatever."
Yeah, he doesn't get the response he wants for sure.
Yeah. He has a little freak out at work, right?
Yeah,
Punching the wall's pretty big.
Yeah, he works for Daddy. So he got away with punching a hole in the wall.
We know it's a family business, but maybe Daddy works for him, dude. You never know.
No, it could be. He definitely punched a hole in the wall.
His dad definitely works with him, and he definitely did some damage control in that situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at this point, he's at the hospital. He's getting patched up, and gets told about this support group because obviously he's handling all this very roughly. And he goes, and they make him talk, right? Which is kind of like weird and different than Esther's initial thing, and different than any of those, really. And then not only talk, but the guy's like, "Hey, can you stand up too while you're doing this?"
Right.
Yeah, I was thinking, you know what? You're supposed to go in there and let people be as comfortable as they are.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to make them do anything like that. That was. I felt really bad for him for that. That was uncomfortable to watch.
And it's not even like one of these things where it's like, you have a person leading the meeting and then everyone else sitting out here, facing. They were in a circle. They were sitting in a circle. Like, why would he stand up? I tell that dude to fuck right off. But
yeah, I would do.
But I thought that his whole little monologue there was like the amount of sort of like honesty that he had was a little unreal, but I thought it was pretty well written, at least, like him talking about like I miss taking all my life for granted and shit,
Yeah.
I miss not thinking I'm a shitty person, for all how this all went down.
And I'm too tired to play with you right now.
Yeah.
He's like, if I could just get that back so I could play. Aw, so sad.
Pretty well done, I thought. What did you guys think about that his whole little breakdown of the situation there?
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely see he had this time that he'd been processing everything, and he definitely saw where he had regrets for things that he didn't cherish at the moment, and wishing he had it back. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's something I think everybody can relate to on some level.
Sure, sure. Yeah, I mean, we all have the regrets and things that we'd like to do if we could go back and do it again. And I definitely could feel him when he said that. Instead of watching TV and maybe spend a little more time with the family and whatnot. So I totally get that. He wasn't a bad guy. I mean, Patrick was probably the only person in the movie that yes, he snapped, but that was because of circumstances. And he's probably the only guy that he's probably the only person in the movie that was relatable in that respect. He wasn't a bad person. He was just broken. He got broke when he saw his son die. And then he took a life, and I'm sure that weighed on him as well. And but
Yeah.
I mean, but he definitely he definitely got a little bit behind him when like when he started finding out about Melanie. There's one thing about him, his reaction that was lacking. I mean, he saw his reaction was anger and disappointment, but there was one thing lacking, and that was surprise. He wasn't surprised. He was like, I sort of suspected. Because I think when you live with someone like that, I do think he starts seeing the edges of people. Because they weren't exactly a warm couple. Because that's why he's sitting there saying he wished he could have done some things differently. You got the impression that they weren't exactly a really close knit couple.
I feel like it was not. I think he was confused. Like, what are you even talking about? Like, is it her? And like, his reaction was such that he knew that maybe she was like a liar, right? Like, probably like lies about a lot of shit to him, and he realizes it. And I mean, ever since like he even was like, who the fuck was that? Like he knew that she knew her somehow.
Yeah, she was talking to you. What was she saying?
Yeah.
To you, she blew him up, like said, oh, she said you're next.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when he told the guy's sitting there going, I'm sorry, I got the wrong person, and he's telling him, stay right here, stay. Don't move. I want me to show you something first, but he says stay. I mean, he sort of knew, his wife was up to some sort of shenanigans. He wasn't surprised by it, but he just wanted to make sure it really was her. But he in his heart, he already knew it was her. And so when he showed the picture and he goes like it wasn't like, is this who you saw? It was like her, right? It's like, yeah, that's her.
Unreal.
Yeah, he goes home and it's like, it wasn't even, it was like almost less of a confrontation and more of him just saying like, I'm out of here, man. I just can't even fucking deal with this shit.
Well, I mean, he did pull the shotty again, so I mean, that escalated a little bit, but
that escalated big time. I was like, well.
But I guess he was just trying to drive a point home. Just tell me the truth. I want to know the damn truth. It's like,
I get the feeling he just walks around the house with a shotgun. Like, he's putting Kate to bed. He's like, "Good night, son."
Yeah.
Like,
kiss the gun. Good night.
Yeah.
That's right.
Good night, John boy.
Yeah.
It's like,
good night, Joey.
That's like his fidget spinner, right? Is the shotgun?
I guess, yeah.
His fidget.
His like security blanket. But he pulls the gun, and and we sort of cut from that scene, not really having any resolution per se, straight up told to us, but the implication is that she shoots him, right?
her eyes, were
Right.
you could see the wheels turning because his back was to her, and it was like, uh-oh.
Yeah, you can definitely see her looking at the shotgun and going like, "Yeah, I got an idea."
Yeah, I mean, but nothing is told us implicit or like explicitly. Like,
yeah, because I wasn't sure if she did something or if he went and just did it himself.
Yeah,
he says, "I can't take this any longer."
There was a moment where I was thinking like he's going to commit suicide, just the way he was holding the shotgun with his back to her. But yeah, I mean, when we cut from the scene, we get the feeling like she was thinking about shooting him. And then we don't know if she shoots him or not. I mean, we feel like she does, but we cut to Abigail showing up, right? She sleuths her way over there. What did you guys think of this whole sort of? I mean, we've taken so many twists and turns. What did you think about like this sort of final leg of the film? How this was shaping up?
About time. And finally, somebody's going to get this bitch.
or die in the attempt.
Like, I hope she brought her brick.
Yeah, she saw her truck, which I was like, they told her, we found your truck. We're gonna impound it for a crime, and then she still rolls up there and it's still there. I'm going like, man, that's a small ass town. Like you couldn't get the murder truck out of there. And what's to stop her from getting the truck? It's her truck. But she sees it, and then she sees the house, and she creeps up in there, and you don't really feel any justice either. Like, okay, yeah, she's gonna get vengeance for her friend. It's just like, again, it's like you don't really care about her. She's crazy. You don't have any. I'm not sitting there rooting for her to do that because she fucking killed the baby in the first scene. She's no innocent at all. Her vengeance is falling on deaf ears.
She's not pissed at the loss of Esther so much as the fact that those people took Esther, right? Like that's how I felt about it. Like she was more angry at the people that killed someone that was in her life as opposed to like, I miss the person who's in my life. You know what I mean?
Right.
But still, I mean, all the way through the end of this movie, I was like, I hope she does something with that hammer, Yeah. Like the person who I most wanted to get the comeuppance was Melanie, right? But
yeah, definitely.
She brought her a bag of goodies with her, right?
Yeah, she's got her strap on. She's like, don't worry about it. That's not for you. I
personally don't know why she didn't. To me, I was thinking to myself, gosh, if you're gonna do what I think you're gonna do, to me, it's like, why not put the strap around her mouth? Put that around her mouth, and then go to town on her knees with those hammers. The hammer. I would have been. That's exactly what I would have done. I would have muffled her sound. Then I would have broke both her kneecaps. She's gonna die anyway. So why not?
But you're a sick fuck, Patrick.
Well, I think Annika made the mistake. Like she knew that Melanie was, or she thought first that she was cheating with Esther when she said she believed her that she wasn't. Like she said, no, nothing ever happened. But she didn't fully know, what we knew about Melanie, and I think that was her problem, is underestimating who she had. Because I mean, the way she had her tied up, that was kind of just like she was like, oh, she's not going to do anything. She's I've got her scared. She's not going to even try to get loose.
Yeah.
She starts looking for snacks, right, in the kitchen.
Yeah. There was a moment where she says, "No wonder Esther liked you. You're fucking crazy as shit."
Yeah.
At the same time, of course, she was a good fuck. She was crazy as shit. So like, she's acknowledging like that she can see that Melanie is a manipulative, sick person. Yeah, the way they had her tied up was some bullshit. Like I don't think anyone would ever think that was secure.
Right.
If you're a total amateur on like Patrick, who's like a pro at the shit. But like,
he's like, oh,
That's
misery
right.
your ass.
That's right.
but like,
I'm just thinking if you know, if you ever had to, if you have to go on adventures for somebody, you know, if you wanted to make it last a while, then tie them up and then make sure they can't run, so take away their kneecaps. They're not going to go anywhere.
And then make them rewrite that book.
Yeah.
She did have a distinct plan for her, though. We don't know what that was, but maybe it involved her knees later or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, but she also saw her like struggling to get out and was still all willy-nilly like.
Yeah, like she's good. She's not going anywhere. Yeah.
And it's like that house is sound like she's sitting there going like, oh, okay, I hear your husband. He's upstairs taking a shower. It's like, okay, so what part of that? I mean, again, didn't you not notice that she didn't scream at all? She didn't scream at all. She lets you sit there and tie her up. She's not screaming. She's still not screaming. You're tying her up, talking to her, slapping her around. She's still not screaming. Do you not get the idea that her husband's not home? Oh, he must be upstairs taking a shower. I'm sorry, but you know what? I can hear you do that shit if I'm upstairs. But she goes up there. She just walks up there nonchalantly, and it's like, she just played. That's the reason why she happens to her. She totally underestimated Melanie. She didn't read the room at all, and
kind of
what's in the bathroom.
She kind of overestimated herself as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
What do you think happened in the bathroom with Patrick, though?
I think she shot him.
Yeah, I think she shot him. I'm gonna be right back, guys. Sorry.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, it was definitely the way she looked in there. She was like, "Oh, so she's like really crazy," and so now I'm really going to enjoy this even more, And then again, when she starts to walk down those stairs, because she hears the noise of the chair falling, and that seemed like it was awful quick from that chair falling. And it's like
she able to get out of there.
Yeah. It seemed like it should have took a little bit longer than that, but
yeah. I mean, I don't think Annika was incompetent as far as tying her up. I think maybe may not have been the best job, but it wasn't gonna be as weak as that. Now, if you guys listen,
we used to do that when we were kids. We used to tie each other up and time it and see how long it took us to get out of it.
Now, if you guys listen real carefully, you'll hear Ben. He's giving the boy some leftover pizza.
Well, consider what we knew about Annika. She was doing a tie-up job like as if it was for play in the bedroom, whereas it should have been to actually subdue Melanie.
Yeah, you should have used the handcuffs.
Yeah.
Instead of the rope.
So I mean, when she starts coming down and she sees Melanie's facing off with her, quite honestly, you and I talked about this, Mary, before the show. Unfortunately, there's no way Annika's winning that one. Melanie walks off. She walks off triumphant. She kills.
Yeah, she's got it right at her face,
Yeah, she's standing. She's too close. She's too far away. Plus, she's already been shot once, and she's too far away. Yeah, she grabbed the hammer, but she's still. There's no way she's.
Well,
there's no way.
I got thinking. It's like when Melanie's having this little vision of how things are going to be. That seems like that should have been enough time for Annika to. But she whack her with that hammer. It's like because she's not sitting there seeing what we're seing.
Yeah,
so
but
she's like she's in a daze, so it's like.
But she got shot. If she hadn't been shot, I totally agree with you. But she got Melanie put a round in her gut. She ain't going nowhere, but falling face forward on the stairs. She's not going to be doing anything with that hammer. And Melanie's waiting for it, and she just as soon as she makes her first move, she puts the round in her, and that's the end of the movie, and that's what happens. I definitely think that Melanie gets away. I don't know if she gets away with it, but as far as the movie goes, she does.
I mean, we see like we see like that she is inside some fantasy, right? Because she's like, "Who, bitch? Who are you even fucking talking to?"
Yeah.
Right. It's
I
on the
think like
news report.
I think what
Yeah.
like Hoss is saying is like, rather than saying that, she should have just like grabbed the hammer to begin with. You know?
Right. Like
Yeah.
I seem like she could have at least known she was like a space
Yeah,
case for a few
yeah.
seconds, and she could have got at least one knock in on her with that hammer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought that I thought Melanie had more than enough time to put a second round in her without being hurt. I mean, it's just as soon as she
Yeah, she
grabbed
already
the
had it
hammer,
cocked.
as soon as she grabbed the hammer and started bringing it up, Melanie racked one off, and that was it. I'm like, oh shit, okay. Well, sometimes the bad guy does win. I mean, because there is no good guy in this movie, not really. I mean, there's
Peyton was the good guy.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
That was you know, that would probably be the first question I would ask that director if I was talking to him. Is like, why did you cast your son in a role like that? That must be. I just couldn't imagine even as a director, putting your son in a scene like that and then watching it. That's gonna be like,
Well, it's all implied. I mean, the kid just is like, he's like, "Hey, go stand by the bathtub." You know, I mean, there's not like the kid's not doing all that Foley work necessarily with the
He,
Right.
he reminded me of a little boy in Pet Cemetery, and he got ran over by a truck.
oh, Gage.
Right. That's true,
Yeah,
Gage.
Gage. Oh,
Yeah.
so somebody cast that cutie in there.
Well, they also ran over the kitty too at Churchill. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Kitty
Why not a
came
dog?
back.
Why not a dog? Why not a dog?
Hmm.
Oh, okay. Just thinking out loud.
I will say, like her whole like thing. Well, I mean, as the audience, we don't realize that it's her fantasy as it's playing out, but we sort of like cut to her, yeah, at the TV, like a news report, like, oh, this, you know, not she, you know, was full of all this trauma, and like she's written this book. Oh, I hear you're going to do like they're doing a TV movie on you, and she's like, yeah, you know. But I thought that was pretty interesting. There's an actual case where this woman poisoned her husband and then went on to write this book about grief with her
I think
children.
I remember that.
Yeah. I don't know if that
remember.
happened. I think that must have happened after that or something. But anyway, it made me think of it like, Jesus, you know?
And she says she was remarried and expecting again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also.
And that's when we cut to Annika saying, "Bitch, who the fuck are you talking to?"
Mhm.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I gotta say that again, this cast for this movie really made it work for me. A very talented cast. Um, Christina Klebe, who played Annika, she's a really good actress. She's done some really good movies.
I thought the crazy lesbian was like
That's who.
top to me. Like,
Yes.
Yeah, that's
played out
Christina Klebe.
excellent.
She's had some really good. She's got some great credits, a lot of horror credits too. I was looking, you know, I've already seen her. I saw her in a movie that she did with Dolph Lundgren called "Don't Kill Him." And man, that was a really good movie. I was so shocked at that, how good that was. But I was looking at her. Her credits. Man, she's appeared in some really good movies. She was in Rob Zombie's first Halloween movie.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, was she? No shit.
Yeah. She was in not only was she was in Free Fall, Tales of Halloween. Let's see, and then she was in the new Hellboy movie. She did that, and then she did a movie that I want to see that she came out last year, which I never heard of, but it looks really interesting, called Brooklyn 45. And it's just like, okay, I definitely want to see that. She was really good. I thought she was definitely the most fun to look at in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, what were your sort of like final thoughts on this? What would you rate it, Patrick?
Me, I would definitely rate this a strong 8.5. I really liked the movie. I really did. I thought it was a really good choice, and it is but it's not a horror movie. I want to emphasize that too. Is I didn't find it to be horrifying. I found it to be very mystifying. It was a mystery. It was just like, how is this going to resolve itself? That's really what it was, and it definitely took us for a trip. I say 8.5 for me.
Yeah, I mean, I would. It's kind of a little more of a thriller, maybe, but it is horrific. I mean, all the violence against youngsters was pretty horrific. But yeah, I mean, horror is in the eye of the beholder. Like a lot of people think Jaws is a horror movie, and I don't feel that way. So who knows?
Yeah.
How about you, Hoss? What'd you think?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely, to me, there were enough horrific elements there to, at least because just the whole thought of what if you were in this situation and how would you be, or if you were Patrick and you were married to this woman you thought was, at least better than what she ended up being, or, just but yeah, I was really impressed with it. And I had a good time with it. It was over 2 hours, but it went by, and I was interested and engrossed the whole time. I give it a 9, so I liked it.
How about you, Mary?
I was more of a 7.5. I don't know. I don't know. I was expecting a little more horror, I guess, a little more, I don't know, sci-fi, like, I don't know, because of the cover, like you were saying. But the acting was good. I love the music. That's a suspenseful part to it too. And like when they got the boy in the bathtub, they don't have to show everything in order to get the effect, and that was decent.
It was a pretty well made film,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Good choice, Ben.
Yeah.
It's an interesting one. I think I liked it more the first time around. Of course, I was not privy to all the twists and turns and shit. So of course I'll probably feel differently on a second watch. But yeah, I'd probably give it a solid 7.5 to 8. I think it's a good film. Not one I would recommend to anybody.
Yeah, definitely be careful about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is good, and there's just something so jarring about seeing trauma to like a pregnant belly. Like, have you guys seen
that was like, I need a break already.
Yeah. Mary. I'm surprised you gave it a 7.5, Mary, because you said this movie made you stop a couple of times, and to
I
me,
had to take some breaks.
Yeah, to me, that's sort of like, that's a good thing if you're a horror fan. If you have to sit there and like, okay, I got to walk away from this for a minute. I think that makes
more the horror of the situation than it being a horror movie.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to me, it was like there were shocking parts of it, but it wasn't shocking for the sake of wanting to be shocking. Like, say, if it was, you go into a Saw movie, you know what you're expecting to see. You're going to be seeing
I didn't know what was
blood and gore everywhere. And that's the thing with this; these horrific elements hit you in such a way. It's like, you weren't planning to see these things, but when they happen, they're still shocking. But it was like, I don't think they really went to try to shock. It was just more or less, this is how this story is playing out. I don't know.
Definitely shocking.
Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty good one. Who's next on our list of people to select the movie?
Ben.
I'm back. So the movie that we'll be talking about, I've been saving this one, even though I already reviewed it. But I know you guys. I don't know if any of you guys have seen this or not. But I love this movie so much. So you already know I'm going to be giving it a good score. But I know that I want to hear what you guys have to think about it. And we're going to be watching Consecration.
Oh, yeah.
That looked pretty cool on the preview. I fell asleep. I was like, damn it.
Yeah. This one's fantastic. I love this movie. This movie's so much fun, but I want to see what you guys have to say on it, because the last time I said I love this movie kicks ass, you guys, it was Hellgate. But I promise this is better.
I liked Hellgate.
I know. I just feel like I have to make sure that we're gonna watch something fun and exciting and.
I like those critter guys that were trying to get him and chew on his legs.
Yeah.
And this one has, like I said, Jenna Malone in it, and Jenna Malone is a treasure. And Danny Houston's in this as well. So it's very well done, and it's very exciting, and I can't wait to see what you guys have to say about it. And that will be on March 31st. March 31st for consecration.
I think you even picked that one up in one of your library halls, didn't you?
Actually, I traded for this one.
Oh, you traded? Okay.
Yeah, I traded Echo Zero for this. I gave him we did a trade box.
And you were at least looking for it, I know, in your library.
Oh, man, I you know what's funny is I actually, Haas, is like I told him before the trade. I said, because he said he gotten it from Walmart, and I said, did you watch it? And he hadn't watched it yet. And I said, well, you should watch that movie before you make the trade.
And at least watch it.
Yeah, I watched this. I watched this on Tubi, and I'm sitting there going like, oh my god, if he knew how good this movie was, I'm not going to get to trade. But I did tell him. I said, hey, before we make this trade, make sure you watch it, because like I said, you might not want to make this trade so quick once you see it. But he was very. He said no. He really wanted the Red Dwarfs season, so I traded him the Red Dwarfs. So not a problem. But it's a great movie. It's definitely one of my favorite IFC films.
Cool. Do you want to promote anything, Patrick?
Let's see. This week, what do we got? This week, I have 3 interviews this week. Tuesday, I'm interviewing Charles Sherrard from the Dive podcast, Charles Sherrard Jr. Wednesday, I'm interviewing director and producer Brendan G. Murphy, and then on Friday, Terry Jarrell and John Egan from the movie Harlow's Haunt, and that's what I'll be doing this week.
Cool. Haas, you got anything you want to promote?
Not per se. I do have some more pickups I got to show off at some point, and unfortunately, I found out about the Whatnot app, and that's not a good thing. So it's so quick to pick up things there at cheaper prices, but you can get carried away. I can see where you can get carried away easy on that using that app. So
I'm looking at the chat. It looks like they're trying to. It looks like the Horror with Haas video store grand opening is happening.
I
definitely have enough. I could open one. That's for sure. I'm going to do a count one day to see how many I've got, but I think it will shock even me. Yeah, it's a lot.
Live stream. Do it on live stream, Haas.
Oh man, that would take a while.
You're going to need a big abacus, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Mary, how about you? Anything you want to promote?
I just I drew
Jessica
Biel.
Oh, Jessica Biel, yes.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre. My son likes that. He was like, that's a good remake. I do like that remake. And then I thought of you, Patrick. I drew this one.
Jonesy.
Oh, look at that. Look at Jonesy. That's just like the cheetah.
He's eating them.
Yeah,
he ate them.
He got the better of that xenomorph.
Hell yeah. Dude, cheetahs are awesome. Or just orange cats being orange cats. What about you, Ben? I know you're still in a moratorium, but how are we weakening that resolve? Do I need to send you more corgi reels? Because I can do that.
Yeah, I've been a little checked out as far as like being social goes. But I've recently started doing posting on Instagram again, and at some point I'll start making videos again. Like I showed you guys some of the pickups I got that I haven't done that many videos in general. So like the shit I have in my collection I haven't documented super well, but
if you want to do a Midwest to West Coast on Saturday night, just let me know, man. We could go up for an hour and a half or so and just kick it and talk kaiju and show off your shit.
Yeah,
I'm down with that.
I end up just it seems like the only thing I really want to do is play music and then I exercise, and then it's late at night and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, I've been starting on the treadmill too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I got the rowing machine.
Or do you?
Yeah, so that's
Little
what
Chuck Norris one.
not like a concept too.
That Chuck body.
But I got this new Gibson Hummingbird.
Oh,
Beautiful.
nice.
All right.
Nothing moratorium as I buy a fancy ass guitar, but you know.
It's very nice.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's been. I got a kind of a shitty neighbor, guys, downstairs, who basically moved in. I don't know, a little while back. I've been super courteous. She doesn't like the guitar amp or the singing.
Oh,
But I've been, very courteous and accommodating of her. But she's kind of just like a Karen, and I finally am like sick of indulging her bullshit. And she's like, "Hey, can you just only practice like this much?" And I was like, "No, everything, no." Like
I mean,
control your own life, lady. Have a good day.
Yeah.
I basically had to put my foot down with her. So that was kind of aggravating. But I got an acoustic guitar because I thought it would be easier than bugging her with the electric. But she's still like, I was literally playing it so quiet during the day one time. And she's like, I can hear your guitar kind of clearly. Can you like not play while I'm working from home? And I'm like,
yeah,
no,
that's extreme. That's extreme, man. I mean,
that's
on.
literally the straw that broke the camel's back. And I essentially told her to fuck right off.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Right on.
I did it very politely. I said, listen, like, you are entitled to peace and quiet between the hours of 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. But in actual fact, I have the right to practice music from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. And every concession I make, which is actually quite a bit, is a courtesy from me. And this is not, you're not compromising at all. And I'm going to continue to be courteous, but you can basically fuck right off.
Right.
Yep. No, I get it. I totally agree.
I've been doing this for years and like multiple tenants. So like she's the first person to have any issues with it. And like literally this, I don't even know if you guys will be able to hear. I was playing guitar this loud.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
This is my speaking voice. And this is how loud I was playing. And she's like, hey, can you like not do that one? And I'm like, no, lady, fuck you.
No. That'd be like me sitting up there, and the first time you hear her move at all, that's when you knock on the door on the roof and sit there. I can hear you. You're making too much noise.
I can hear you breathing.
She's downstairs. She's on a Zoom call or whatever. You can sit there. Hey, can you keep that down? Because I can hear your Zoom call upstairs. So if you want to, you want to be that way with me.
She is pretty quiet. I'll give her that.
But she's still going to make noise. No matter how quiet she is, she's still going to make noise. So
yeah.
She doesn't know yet that you tap dance.
Well, she's lucky. She's lucky you hadn't had the wait till the boys get a pizza meal on a Saturday night.
Like honestly, I like if I've really gone out of my way to try to not be a nuisance. But yeah, her complaining about the acoustic was me finally saying, "Fuck you."
I'd love to have somebody live next to me play the instrument. You get like a free concert every time they play. That's the way I'd look at it.
I mean, like of course they like you. Anything I post is like me having worked through a song, and like of course the neighbors hear me working through stuff. So like it doesn't all sound great or whatever, but like, she can fuck right off. Don't know how I got started talking about that, but because I got the acoustic. But yeah, at any rate, so that's about it. Thank you for joining us. Thank you everyone in the chat who had stopped by. I guess that's about it. Unless anyone else has anything they would like to say.
Enjoy.
We're watching Consecration.
Yep.
That's right.
End of March for the next one.
That's right. March 31st for the next IFC Midnights. Thank you for everybody who came out tonight. Support this one and support the replay. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yep. And until next time, thanks so much for watching. Friendo.
Hey, got the balloons. Yeah.